Japan issues first megaquake warning for Nankai Trough after strong tremor, and magnitude 5.3 earthquake hits Tokyo after Japan issues first megaquake warning for Nankai Trough after strong tremor, and magnitude 5.3 earthquake hits Tokyo after Japan issued megaquake advisory. Also, Japan's PM cancels overseas trip after experts issue megaquake warning. Waves as high as 80 centimeters registered in Japan in wake of earthquake. In the U.S., former finance minister of Mozambique convicted of $2 billion fraud and money laundering scheme. NYC's Ice Cream Museum is sued by a man who says he broke his ankle jumping into the sprinkle pool. In the U.S., former Syrian prison official charged with immigration fraud, about his time running a Syrian prison where prisoners, including political dissidents, were physically mistreated. DNA on weapons implicates former U.S. Green Beret in attempted Venezuelan coup, federal officials say. U.S. federal judge again dismisses Mexico's lawsuit against most gun manufacturers. In Australia, Cadbury doubles the price of Freddo frogs and caramello koalas, with chocolate giant citing record cocoa costs for increase. Mention of heat waves at all-time high in India's earnings calls. Pakistan sees solar boom as Chinese imports surge, BNEF says. Microsoft researchers report Iran hackers targeting U.S. officials before election. Kaspersky Lab registers twofold growth of infected smart devices in Russia. It's not worth paying to be removed from people finder sites, study says. ByteDance is set to seek refinancing of $5 billion loan. Temu owner Colin Huang is now China's richest person. Apple says, there's no price Microsoft could pay to make it ditch Google. They offered to give us Bing for free. Crypto leaders demand Gary Gensler's removal in White House meeting. Donald Trump Jr. is launching a crypto platform to take on the banks. Japan's top finance regulator hesitant on crypto ETF approvals. Cate Blanchett says, no one got paid anything for Lord of the Rings. I basically got free sandwiches and I got to keep my ears. Channing Tatum hopes Deadpool and Wolverine Gambit cameo leads to standalone movie. I pray to God. Jenna Ortega says everybody in Hollywood wants to be politically correct, but that lacks honesty and makes us lose a lot of our humanity and integrity. Man who served under Walz says governor retired before unit had deployment news, as Tim Walz's military record under scrutiny as he joins Kamala Harris on Democratic ticket. Harris-Walz camouflage Midwest princess hat reaches nearly $1 million in sales a day after release. Trump and Harris to debate on ABC. Trump says he wants two more. In the UK, migrant numbers fall sharply after curbs on family visas. Swedish emigrants to outnumber immigrants for first time in 50 years, as per government. Poland to pay monthly benefit to people aged over 100. Elon Musk deletes post spreading fake news about UK detainment camps, and UK PM Keir Starmer confirms Online Safety Act to be reviewed after far-right riots. ISIS-inspired suspect plans suicide attack at Taylor Swift concert, Austrian authorities say. Bulgarian parliament bans LGBTQ+ propaganda in schools. Apple announces new fee structure for apps in the EU that link out to the web for purchases, and Spotify and Epic Games call Apple's revised DMA compliance plan confusing, illegal, and unacceptable. Amazon enlists TikTok, Pinterest in quest to sell everywhere. Tether to double staff by mid-2025 in compliance finance push. Chinese competitor to Nvidia charged with financial fraud, loses spot on Shenzhen Stock Exchange. HP to move production of millions of PCs to Thailand, Mexico. TSMC sales grow 45% in July on strong AI chip demand. Paramount Global announces it will cut 15% of U.S. workforce, shares rise on second quarter earnings, and Paramount takes $5.98 billion write-down on cable networks in Q2 tied to Skydance deal, while streaming turns first profit. Warner Bros. Discovery earnings reports reveals Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League caused a 41% loss in video game revenue, and WB Discovery wants to license franchises, which include Batman to Harry Potter and more, to other game studios. Wall Street sees end of Fed's quantitative tightening this year. JP Morgan raises odds of U.S. recession by year-end to 35%. Warren Buffett now owns more T-bills than the Federal Reserve. Spain investigates man who poured water on ancient cave paintings for a better photo. Drone imagery shows 97% of corals dead in northern Great Barrier Reef. Researchers calculate up to 1 billion birds may die in the U.S. each year due to collisions with windows. Lauryn Hill says U.S. tour was called off due to low ticket sales, which she attributes to media sensationalizing of her cancelled shows last year. Kesha plans to re-record TikTok with FCK Diddy lyric change. Billie Eilish, Snoop Dogg and Red Hot Chili Peppers to perform at Summer Olympics closing ceremony. Asked about bear carcass prank, RFK Jr. says he once had a freezer full of roadkill meat. Catalonia former leader Puigdemont returns to Spain despite arrest warrant, and Catalan separatist Puigdemont heads for Belgium after dodging arrest in Spain, party says. Brazil and Nicaragua cut ties over Ortega's persecution of clergy, as Brazil, Nicaragua expel each other's ambassadors. A new report finds Boeing's rockets are built with an unqualified workforce, and NASA says Boeing Starliner astronauts may fly home on SpaceX in 2025. Cybersecurity firm Trend Micro explores sale, sources say. Petrobras reports 2.6 billion Brazilian reals loss in Q2. Company will pay 13.57 billion Brazilian reals in dividends. ASUS and MSI BIOS updates for Intel 13th and 14th generation unstable crashing CPUs now rolling out, and Intel faces shareholder class action lawsuit for allegedly concealing foundry business problems. WD announces enterprise 128 TB SSD, 8 TB SD cards, and a 16 TB external SSD at FMS 2024. Samsung is recalling 1 million stoves to prevent pets from setting your home on fire. Roblox banned from Turkey for causing abuse of children, following an Instagram blackout. A TikTok ban may be next. Venezuela's Maduro blocks X access in country for 10 days. YouTube no longer opens in Russian desktop browsers. Trump says abortion's not big factor in elections anymore. Evangelical leaders call out danger as prophets tie God to Donald Trump. Arizona grand jurors discussed indicting Trump, but prosecutors urged them not to. Reportedly, Tim Walz's net worth is less than the average American's. Joe Rogan says he supports RFK Jr. over Trump, Harris. Trump took a private flight with Project 2025 leader in 2022. Mexico rejects Ukraine's request to arrest Russia's Putin during visit. UN official says 95% of Ukrainian soldiers in Russian captivity face torture. Former intelligence agent Ritter says, FBI searched his home because of ties to RT Sputnik. 1 year ago it had been reported as, Russia uses former UN weapons inspectors' Ukraine misinformation for domestic propaganda. In Germany, Bundestag sees no issue with Ukraine using leopards on Russian territory. Natural enemies China and Russia brought together by U.S. Democratic leaders, says Donald Trump. Putin signs law allowing foreign banks to open branches in Russia. 11 years ago, Putin signs law banning opening of foreign bank branches in Russian Federation. European Commission announces hot-rolled coil anti-dumping investigation into Egypt, India, Japan and Vietnam. U.S. tops China as Germany's biggest trading partner. Japan's automakers lose market share in China and Thailand as EVs spread. Ted Lasso co-creator is waiting on Jason Sudeikis to make a decision about Season 4. Full episodes of Arcane Season 2 appear online ahead of November release, following Netflix anime leaks. China firm pays actor $400,000 for live stream, demands refund after dismal product sales. Russia legalizes crypto mining and brings an experimental regime. U.S. policy group proposes Bitcoin tax-free zone for digital economy growth. Brazil grants approval to world's first spot Solana ETF. Animoca and Lamborghini collaborate for Web3 automotive experience. FTX, Alameda ordered to pay $12.7 billion to creditors by U.S. judge. Google to implement web monetization in Chrome for micropayments for content. In India, 5 children injured in Bihar while trying to make bomb using YouTube tutorial. Russian chess player accused of trying to poison opponent by smearing pieces with mercury. Iran executes 36 convicts in 24 hours. The Global Alliance for Responsible Media is discontinuing after Elon Musk's X filed an antitrust lawsuit against it, as advertisers axe corporate responsibility scheme after lawsuit from Musk's X. 3 days ago, Musk's X sues Unilever, Mars and CVS over massive advertiser boycott. Montreal man wants to sue social media platforms for being too addictive. Meta and Google secretly targeted minors on YouTube with Instagram ads. COVID fell to 10th leading cause of death in the U.S. last year, down from 4th. Hong Kong to stop offering Sinovac COVID vaccine when current stocks expire in October. First imported cases of Zika-like virus detected in Europe. Israel detains soldiers on allegations of sexual assault of a detainee from Gaza. Turkey formally asks to join the genocide case against Israel at the UN court. Norway warns Israel of harming diplomatic ties with Oslo. And EU say Israel revoking Norwegian diplomats' status unwarranted, not helpful. Recently, Israel cancels accreditation of Norwegian diplomats to Palestinian areas. Alaska glacier outburst floods Juneau, damages more than 100 homes. 10 years of research shows chlamydia vaccine can save lives of wild koalas. Israel PM's office announced Israel will attend August 15 talks to finalize the details for implementing deal. Qatar, Egypt, US invite Israel and Hamas to resume Gaza ceasefire talks. Hostage and ceasefire deal talks stall over new Netanyahu demands, Israeli officials say, as Netanyahu to reject deal releasing all hostages if it doesn't end Hamas control of Gaza. Japan holds ceremony on 79th anniversary of Nagasaki bombing, and G7 ambassadors to miss Nagasaki atomic bomb memorial over Israel's exclusion. Saudi Arabia says Hamas leader's killing was blatant violation of Iran's sovereignty. U.S. bans imports from 5 more Chinese companies over Uyghur forced labor allegations. FBI and CISA warn of black suit ransomware that demands up to $500 million. Windows Update downgrade attack. Unpatches fully updated systems. Hackers could spy on cell phone users by abusing 5G baseband flaws, researchers say. Chinese crime ring accused of stealing thousands of corpses to use bones for dental grafts. Anti-doping agencies WADA, USADA clash over use of undercover athletes to catch cheats. Hong Kong police deploy drones, night patrols, Marine officers in 4 days anti-burglary bid. South Korea could take years to rebuild spy networks after leak exposes undercover agents. 10 days ago, South Korea arrests official over alleged data leak exposing spies, as claimed in reports. Previously, South Korea reports leak from its military intelligence command. Canadian North Korea expert UN official detained in Switzerland on espionage charges. Ukraine to unleash robot dogs on its front lines for detecting mines spying. In Battle of Kursk 2.0, German armored vehicles are rolling into Kursk again after more than 80 years. Ukraine stuns Russia. In Germany, AfD and BSW heat things up in the east. Anti-Ukraine sentiment is growing. ChatGPT now lets free users generate up to 2 images per day made by DALL-E 3. OpenAI warns users could become emotionally hooked on its voice mode. Elon Musk to pause X's AI training on some EU data, Ireland says. Perplexity's popularity surges as AI search startup takes on Google. AI coaching replacing human instructors at high-tech Chinese driving school. Figures new humanoid robot leverages OpenAI for natural speech conversations. Last generation ends protests in Austria. Lionel Messi's luxury Ibiza villa daubed in spray paint by climate activists. EV explosion prompts parking garage bans, safety fears in Korea. 5 days ago, Mercedes-Benz Korea expresses deep regret over Incheon fire caused by EV explosion. Every year the hot period is getting longer. Record July temperatures kill 120 people in Tokyo. Kuala Lumpur's population hits 8.8 m. Groundwater reserves in southwestern Europe more stable overall than previously thought. Japan's $1.1 trillion stock meltdown rewrote the record books. And Bank of Japan's Uchida says no rate hike when financial markets unstable. Japan hedge funds post best single-day performance, Goldman says. Japan spent $68 billion to prop up yen twice in second quarter, as Japan likely sold foreign securities to fund FX intervention. South Korea logs biggest current account since 2017 on AI demand, and reportedly declaring crisis. South Korean firms tell managers to work 6 days a week. German factory orders rise first time this year on cars, metals. Chinese battery industry faces consolidation wave. Banks poised to seize more buildings in Hong Kong, PwC says. Hong Kong's Cathay Pacific to buy more than 100 aircraft as part of $100 billion Hong Kong dollars investment. China sets over 300 goals for socialist modernization by 2029. In the U.S., Pakistani national with ties to Iran charged in connection to a foiled assassination plot potentially targeting Trump. U.S. neo-Nazi terror group aims to revive activities ahead of election. Reportedly, U.S. and China fentanyl cooperation deepens as Beijing tightens controls for precursor chemicals. Former Pfizer manager gets 9 months for COVID insider trading. In South Africa, 8 shot dead, 5 arrested in sting operation on planned cash and transit robbery in Cape Town. More than $1 million worth of cocaine washes up on Florida beach after Hurricane Debby. U.S. to call for limits on Chinese vehicle software over data security concerns. It has been commented as breaking up Google would offer a chance to remodel the web, and Google has an illegal monopoly on search, U.S. judge finds. Microsoft says Delta ignored Satya Nadella's offer of CrowdStrike help, and Microsoft says Delta's technology outdated, likely contributed to slow recovery. Chapel Roan set for Outside Lands just drew Lollapalooza's largest crowd ever. Lauryn Hill and the Fugees' 2024 tour is quietly cancelled 3 days before first date. Reportedly, pricey veneers have made Hollywood smiles too perfect. Bob Dylan biopic A Complete Unknown, starring Timothée Chalamet, sets Christmas release date. Hulk Hogan killing Gawker film in active development with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's Artists Equity. Jay Cantor, agent to Marlon Brando and Marilyn Monroe and production executive, dies at 97. Kamala Harris and running mate Tim Walz just kicked off their campaign in Philadelphia, and Kamala Harris video shows moment she asked Tim Walz to be her running mate. J.D. Vance called Tim Walz a San Francisco-style liberal. Walz visited the city for the first time last month, while Vance lived there for years. Trump campaign criticizes Walz for state law providing tampons in schools. Tim Walz talks about his family's struggle to have children in first speech as VP candidate. Reportedly, Donald Trump repeats baseless claim that Justin Trudeau could be the son of Fidel Castro. Usha Vance defends husband's childless cat lady's comment as a quip in first solo interview. In the UK, PM says communities will be safe in face of riots. Far-right groups plan to target homes and attack on lawyers, police told. UK probes whether state actors stoked far-right riots. Canadian embassy in Israel to reportedly evacuate families of diplomats. Berlin student found guilty of incitement for chanting from the river to the sea at pro-Palestine rally. Israeli rights group, B'Tselem, says government torturing Palestinian prisoners. Daniel Ek earned more from Spotify in the past 12 months than any artist has ever earned on the platform. Banksy reveals second animal artwork within 24 hours in London. Charles Barkley cancels his retirement plans, says he'll stay with TNT Sports for long term. Mazda quietly ditched key fob remote start for subscription app. 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe recalled, hit with stop sale order over airbags. The Ram 1500 Classic will finally die after 17 years in production. Yen carry trade unwind is only about halfway finished, JP Morgan warns. UK economists say Reeves's first moves may undercut growth plan, and £50 billion more public spending needed each year for long-term growth, claims a think tank. Bloomberg reports that Chinese students are paying agents $50,000 for finance jobs as market sours. 332 million emails allegedly scraped from SOC radar, leaked online for free. Every Microsoft employee is now being judged on their security work. Google says it is obligated to disclose confidential information of users to U.S. government. Illinois changes biometric privacy law to help corporations avoid big payouts. Google announces AI-equipped air conditioning management device, Nest Learning Thermostat, 4th generation. Chrome Web Store warns end is coming for uBlock Origin, as Google Chrome is finally transitioning to Manifest v3, introducing new rules for ad blockers. Video game actors are officially on strike over AI. Leaked documents show NVIDIA scraping a human lifetime of videos per day to train AI. It has been commented as Kamala picking Governor Walz for VP is a win for the right to repair movement. X is closing San Francisco headquarters and relocating staffers to San Jose in shared space with XAI in Palo Alto, CEO Linda Yaccarino says in leaked email, as Elon Musk says no choice but for X to shut San Francisco HQ. X and Rumble file antitrust complaint against Global Ad Group. Airbnb details plans to expand beyond short-term rentals, including co-hosting and relaunching experiences. FBI seizes Republican Representative Ogle's cell phone and funding probe. Rudy Giuliani agrees to deal to end his bankruptcy case, pay creditors' financial advisor $400,000. Former Trump attorney Jenna Ellis to cooperate in Arizona fake electors case. Charges to be dropped. Moscow says Ukraine has launched cross-border attack inside Russia. Reportedly, Ukraine had a chance to blow up Russia's best warplanes on the tarmac. The White House said no, and now it's too late. It has been reported as, Russia cannot launch a summer offensive this year. Hezbollah leader says, group will respond but keeping Israelis waiting is part of punishment. Israeli minister says it may be moral to starve 2 million Gazans, but no one in the world would let us. Pakistan announces intention to supply arms to Iran at OIC meeting, claimed in a report, 5 days ago, Iran-Pakistan call meeting of OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, after Hamas leader killed. Maduro calls Venezuelans to delete WhatsApp in growing crackdown, and with Zionism behind this, after disputed election result, Maduro blames Jews for Venezuelan crises. Chinese-American posing as pro-democracy activist, spied on dissidents for Beijing. The plot of a spy novel. Russia detains Italian man for flying a drone near the Kremlin. China will launch first satellites of constellation to rival Starlink, newspaper reports. SpaceX Starship's second flight footage released under Freedom of Information Act by NASA. It turns out Boeing's derelict Starliner is unable to fly without a crew on board. Italian fighters scrambled over Baltic Sea to intercept Russian aircraft. Zelensky confirms contracts for producing over 1M drones in 2024. EU governments give green light to €4.2 billion payout to Ukraine. Over 90 people with Russian flags detained in Nigeria during protest rallies, and Nigeria detains tailors who made Russian flags for anti-government protests. Mexico invites Putin to presidential inauguration. Russia's Izvestia newspaper says. Russia reportedly begins slowing YouTube speeds amid censorship spat with Google. European Parliament calls on EU countries to provide weapons for Ukrainian F-16 fighter jets. Russia sends Iran air defense systems as fears of regional war loom. Reported by NYT. Russia says, forces repel Ukrainian armored raid in Kursk region. Hamas names Yahya Sinwar mastermind of the October 7th attacks, as its new leader in show of defiance. Antony Blinken warns Iran and Israel not to escalate conflict in Middle East. Putin asks Iran to avoid civilian casualties in Israel response, sources say. 7 U.S. personnel injured in Monday rocket attack at Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq, including 2 evacuated for further care. Israeli hospitals declare themselves prepared for mass casualty events. Strikes on Israel to come from Iran, Yemen, Lebanon, claims Hezbollah leader. Nobel laureate Yunus will head Bangladesh's interim government after unrest ousted Hasina. U.S. revokes Sheikh Hasina's visa after Bangladesh ouster, as former PM seeks asylum in the West, and reportedly, former Bangladeshi Prime Minister considers several countries for asylum. Attempting to flee country, 2 former Bangladesh ministers detained at Dhaka airport. In major reshuffle in Bangladesh Army, Major General Zia sacked. Bangladeshi former PM Begum Khalida Zia. Other oppositionists freed from prisons. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson's Pacific Palisades property hit by burglars. BTS's Suga investigated for alleged DUI incident involving electric scooter. Most Americans oppose sending U.S. troops to defend Israel, poll finds. IDF confirms woman listed as missing since October 7th was killed during attack. Reportedly, race riots put Britain on collision course with Elon Musk. Trump says he will do interview with Elon Musk on Monday, 12th of August night. Kamala Harris leads Donald Trump in more than a dozen national polls. Harris versus Trump race is first since 1976 without a Bush, Clinton or Biden. Interpol recovers $41 million in largest ever BEC scam in Singapore. FTC sends nearly $1.9 million in refunds to customers harmed by Hey Dude's violations of the mail order rule. Bloomberg gives $600 million to 4 black medical schools endowments. North Korean hackers Moonstone Sleet push malicious JS packages to NPM registry. CrowdStrike hires outside security outfits to review troubled Falcon code. Apple stops signing iOS 17.5.1, downgrading no longer an option. New Android spyware LianSpy evades detection using Yandex Cloud. New zero-day flaw in Apache OFBI's ERP allows remote code execution. A flaw has been discovered that allows programs to be launched without warning by bypassing Smart App Control and Smart Screen in Windows 10 and 11. China family feud locks son and parents in struggle to send each other to mental hospital. U.S. woman found chained to tree in India tied herself, say police. Tesla burns after driver in Mexico plugs the car into an illicit hookup wired directly to power line. Fossils suggest even smaller hobbits roamed an Indonesian island 700,000 years ago. Titanium heart kept man alive for days for the first time. Baylor researchers discover DNA within mummified mammoth. Post-Wazirex's hack, India's CoinDCX starts investor protection fund with $6 million. Hong Kong virtual bank mock starts Bitcoin, Ether ETF trading, plans direct crypto trading, and Hong Kong rules out more virtual banks, citing need for healthy development of sector. Binance challenges $86 million Indian tax showcase notice, claimed by source. Over $2.5 billion in crypto positions liquidated in 7 days. Reportedly, crypto market hits extreme fear, surpassing FTX collapse lows, and Bitcoin whales increased holdings during crypto market mayhem. But ETF investors didn't buy the dip. Hedge fund giant Capula reports owning $464 million in spot Bitcoin ETF shares. BlackRock and Nasdaq seek rule change to list options on spot Ethereum ETFs. Modern aircraft emit less carbon than older aircraft, but their contrails may do more environmental harm. EPA issues emergency order to stop use of pesticide Dactyl to address serious health risk. Pandas from China to make official public debut at San Diego Zoo. Fishing disrupts square-tail grouper mating behavior, study finds. Streetlights running all night makes leaves so tough that insects can't eat them, threatening the food chain. Asian longhorn tick confirmed in Oklahoma. Tundra vegetation to grow taller, greener through 2100 study finds. Domestication causes smaller brain size in dogs than in the wolf, where study challenges notion. Scientists equip Australian sea lions with cameras to explore previously unmapped ocean habitats. Bouncing helps people move in sync during dance, study shows. Study finds seasonal shifts in moral values. Sweden grants protection to Champagne shipwreck, found by Polish diver.